Further. Faster.
Who's a good kitty, Gus?
I can't. Can you?
I got it.
Hello. We are going higher, further, faster here at the Mary Mater Marvel Society, where we have our The Marvels review for you here tonight. And with me, your marvelous reviewers, we have Dave Mater, your token Mater.
Hello.
So, Dave, you have the night off. I'll represent our host tonight. So any dishonor you suffer will be your own.
Okay.
Any dishonor I suffer on our house.
Okay. Well, it could be like separate dishonors. We could just put it on our dad's respective sides, and then it's all good. We can leave our moms out of it. Where we of course are linked as cousins.
Yes, indeed. And we also have.
Was it bloodline time entangled? Bloodline entanglement.
Me, Davan Skelhorn, and with us is Jaemeel Robinson, as always, as well.
Salute, friends.
We're a team.
Oh my god!
And Eamon Mater,
son of Mater, yeah.
Yes, Mater. Son of Mater, to join us in a few minutes. Of course, he's like a lot of these young kids, like Ms. Marvel. Always falling behind.
Yeah. Hijinks ensues, wherever they go. Or, Eamon Materson, if you want to get more Nordic.
Materson, yes.
Yeah, Materson. Yeah. All right. Well, fellas, I'm pretty excited to talk about this movie. I just saw it on Friday. So what about you guys?
I saw it last Sunday. And I think Jaemeel saw it a week Friday, right? So 7 days before Davan?
Sure. Yeah, I saw it on opening Friday.
Right. And then somehow you were watching a bootleg of it before we started the show?
We do not need to talk about what happens in Fight Club. We're watching Fight Club.
Dave wouldn't make it one night at Fight Club. He'd just be kicked out.
No, yeah.
Whoa, guys, how are you guys not talking about this Fight Club?
Yeah, we should be marketing this Fight Club. They're like, don't you know the rules?
You guys want to do a podcast about Fight Club? They're like, no, there's no podcast about Fight Club. But yeah, there we go. Materson's here.
All right.
Let's go, Eamon.
Not bad.
I do not accept your challenge about my my well-being, my honor, sir. I do declare that we're at an impasse regarding this matter.
Well, Jaemeel and I, when it comes to Marvel stuff, seem to are pretty in line. We tend to have the exact same opinions about these things. But we'll see what happens tonight. Here.
So where are we right now?
We're just starting.
We're just getting started.
Turn your mic a little closer.
Okay.
Opening thoughts. Opening thoughts is what we're looking for at the moment.
Opening thoughts. Okay.
I had a good time. That's all my own.
You had a good time.
Yeah.
Really?
Jaemeel?
Are we just doing ours out of the way just before, because we know that there's probably going to be a dissenting opinion?
Quick opening thoughts, and then we'll get into the movie.
It was fun and short.
Short. Okay. Eamon, do you want to start for the two of us?
Yeah. So I think we both had a pretty similar opinion that we only really liked Miss Marvel, and that was about it.
Yeah, I think
She's the best part.
She's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I think that this particular film is lacking in some ways, although I don't think it's terrible either. I just think it's kind of a nothing burger, if you will.
I feel like a lot of movies in Phase 4 are like that, though.
Yeah, I'd say that I enjoyed this more than the Thor movie, or even the
Eternals.
I liked it more than the last Ant-Man.
Yeah, the last Ant-Man. It there was a couple sequences in it that I liked. I liked the thing with the cats eating everybody was kind of cute or whatever. And,
the opening fight scene was awesome.
opening fight scene.
Where they first start
where they're
switching
teleporting?
places
Yeah,
and
that was
they're
pretty
fighting. That was awesome.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel, Iman Vellani, and her whole I guess family from
they're
the
hilarious.
Ms. Marvel show. Like very funny, very they're my favorite part of the movie.
Definitely.
That was always going to be the case though, because she's just so good.
She's so good.
Regardless of what the other two did.
That is true.
And she was going to be the star.
Yeah, I think Brie Larson didn't work for me so well. The Captain Marvel character.
Captain Marvel. Okay, listen. So I didn't watch the first Captain Marvel. This is my first impression of her, but I gotta say, I hate her. She is. She's brooding. She's impulsive. She's not a good person, and yet everyone kind of treats her like she's this amazing person that she really isn't.
Well, we came into the movie and Eamon's like, she seems really grumpy, she's
been in space for 30 years just by herself. She's very lonely.
Yeah, I think I feel like there's missed opportunities in this movie because I think kind of like how Steve Rogers was this guy out of time. The fact that she is actually, I guess, a 60-year-old woman who looks like she's 30 is not really ever touched upon.
No, not really.
But I guess she also had her memory erased and whatever, so it's a little bit foggy. But and also the one who plays Monica Rambeau, Tiona Paris, I liked her in WandaVision quite a bit, but in this movie I didn't like her.
She's such a nothing character.
I found her boring in this movie. And the chemistry.
You know what was more boring though? It was the villain. I feel like
the villain was completely forgettable.
I would like to see them give her a banger villain.
Can you even name her? Do you even know her name?
Only because I have it up here in front of me.
Yeah.
But no, otherwise I wouldn't be able to. So Nick Fury is the other one I want to talk about, because Nick Fury, coming off Secret Invasion, this was a very different Nick Fury.
Yeah, I was watching Secret Invasion clips and he's just collapsing everywhere onto benches and stuff.
Yeah, and this was Nick Fury at the at Yuck Yucks, given all the jokes. Everything he says is a joke or kind of a funny line. I
liked it, but I don't think I would have if it wasn't someone as charismatic as Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. But that post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene or whatever, hey, I think we need to talk about that. Let's not bury the lead, because how can the world's number one X-Men fan, Davan, not have been excited about that?
Are we? There's no spoiler section.
Oh, this is all spoilers.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
There.
Now that I've said it.
Yeah.
Did you? You didn't say.
No.
Everything, did you?
He didn't say.
I didn't say everything. I just said X-Men.
It was interesting. They hit Kelsey Grammer Beast.
We had Kelsey Grammer back with a CGI beast in this post-credit scene, along with, I guess, whoever Monica Rambeau's mother is.
Is she a character from the comics? I don't even recognize her.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was supposed to be. Binary. Who's that?
I thought that Binary was Captain Marvel's thing.
So, okay. Binary is... So after... Let's see both parts about it now. Okay. And Davan, you might correct me in the order of it. So,
sure.
Binary was a herald of Galactus. After Rogue stole Captain Marvel's powers... Miss Marvel's powers, who later turned into Captain Marvel in the comics. She was in a coma, and then after a period of time in a coma, she became Binary, which included a different kind of representation of her powers. She was like a living star kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
it's it's like she's constantly has the max capacity of her powers.
Yeah,
and she's
kind of like Phoenix.
Binary.
Yeah, well, when Captain Marvel has that aura around her body, she has the energy around her body, they refer to that as binary mode. When Captain Marvel goes into binary mode, so it's like a representation of the powers. And this was it Rambo? Monica Rambeau, right?
Monica Rambeau is the younger, the daughter.
Yeah, Maria is the older.
Maria Rambeau. She's the Captain Marvel of that universe. Just like in the Multiverse of Madness, that was their Captain Marvel. This universe's Captain Marvel, but she is.
But like in the comics, she's hanging out with the X-Men because when Carol was in a coma in the comics, she was hanging out with the X-Men. And when she was binary, she was hanging out with the X-Men or the Starjammers.
Well, and
so
right. I was explaining to Eamon after the movie that in the comics, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, she was a mutant, right, originally, and but Rogue absorbed her powers from her.
Rogue doesn't need to absorb mutants. She can absorb.
Yeah, she doesn't need a mutant. I did.
Okay, but
like if you're a human, she'll be good at what you're good at.
In X-Men, the animated series, a show you're familiar with, Davan.
I know it. I've seen it once.
Was she a mutant in that show?
No.
But she is in that show.
Correct.
Carol Danvers.
Oh yeah, she's in that show. Yeah. That one episode. Yeah.
Rogue takes and we see that flashback where Rogue gets her powers from her, like the ability to fly and super strength and whatever.
Oh, Rogue is in the show?
No.
Rogue is
we're
not
talking
in
about
the
the
show.
cartoon. We're talking about the cartoon from the 90s. So
no, she's never been a mutant. They pretty much got her in the MCU just as she is in the comics, Captain Marvel.
Right.
She gets her powers.
Except that she didn't go through this phase where she was in coma and in the binary mode and wear a different costume, like the one Maria Rambeau was wearing. It's like the white and the red. It's a cool costume.
It was okay.
Okay. So then,
hold on for a sec. We got there's many ways we can tackle this plot, fellas. There's like someone should of course lead us through. Would it be should we do every marvelous moment with Eamon?
All right.
Or
what was the movie about, Eamon? Tell us what happened in this movie.
Should we do?
All right. So
should we do? Hold on. Or should we do delight-based powers with Jaemeel? or should we do? Did he say Binar with Dave?
All about the Binars.
But I think Jaemeel should take us through this because I like this movie and I don't want it to be too negative. So Jaemeel is taking us through this one.
Well, I'm pretty much as the card stated that Davan posted that I've held my tongue in terms of the initial responses because we can get into that later, more or less. This movie.
I'm happy you guys like this movie. That's great.
Yeah, that's good for you guys. But
now I do have one negative before you take over, Jaemeel. I will say, I think the script could use one pass as far as tightening up the logic of the world. Like the one thing I will say about Phase 4 is they seem to have stopped caring about that so much. Like I don't know if it's because Feige's not overseeing them in his kind of like main cadre or whatever. Like tightening up the logic of the universe, like the scene where like Carol flies off and turns into Kamala, and you hear Kamala scream from forever in the sky away, like an airplane's distance away. You could not hear this girl scream. No. So like things like that, it could use like one final pass to tighten up some things like that. And there weren't many moments like that, like two or three.
I think that was an audience sleep. That they like, okay, we did that. She's too far away. You can't hear her. Yeah, but the audience won't understand the issue. So, unfortunately,
it took me out of it for a minute. I'm like, what?
I'm telling you. If we poll the audience, they'd be like, "Oh, I wouldn't know or care about that at all."
I agree. That was just a me thing. Overall, I really liked the movie.
Okay, I have issues. Mind you, my initial thoughts were I only used two things where I said it was fun, and it's fun, and I said fun and short. I didn't necessarily mean that short was a positive thing. I feel like they edited the movie down, and the story, the logic of the story, suffered for it. And I understand a lot of Marvel movies have been way too long, right? In terms of, especially in the information that are provided and telling us the story. But this movie went in the opposite direction where what I feel are very obvious moments in the film where there's chunks taken out of the film.
What's
Right?
the runtime of this movie?
Was it 92?
It said an hour 45 on my movie ticket. Or
an hour
42.
105 minutes. So
Yeah.
not even 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. I feel like Dad pointed this out too, but the scene where they're on like the water planet, they kind of just leave there, and apparently they lost, but they don't really show that.
No, they mentioned it though. They're like, we're
But they
abandoning these
mentioned it,
people.
but
She's just
it
like,
didn't
yeah,
really
you
look
got to
like
save who you can.
Yeah.
It's kind of
And they go.
throwaway, yeah.
So when we get to that point, I think that's where we're going to have a larger discussion about it, because that's my key piece of where I feel like the movie kind of not goes off the rails, but loses a lot of its focus because there is a leap in the conversation that seems to just be removed, and we're getting to the resolution and it's not really earned, right? In terms of the character, right? So I feel that I somewhat disagree in terms of the characterization of the different characters you kind of mentioned. I feel like after Captain Marvel, this is the movie that Carol as a character needed, and kind of really move the character forward from her initial appearance, where she was barely in it, right? It was this individual who was stripped of their memories and trying to come to grips as to what has happened. Whereas in this movie, we're having the direct result of that, her being lost and ripped away from who she was, and she's trying to rediscover that, plus reconnect with the person that she has fleeting memories of, right? That she's still trying to like unravel and really absorb and understand what has happened. The Captain Rambeau is trying to somewhat play the straight man to, the wackiness of Kamala and the broodiness of Captain Marvel, who doesn't really know, right? So she has to serve as the connective tissue, and it's different when she was playing a side character in WandaVision, right? Where you saw a lot of her thoughts and emotions being able to be explored. This one is like, well, I gotta look after this person and look after this person. Anyways, what we were going on, I'm gonna even have trouble. I just kind of watched the I was reviewing information about the movie. Dave, don't talk about my character that way.
No, you would never.
Never. Right? And I cannot remember the main villain's name. Is it Darben?
Darben. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
It's Darben, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Darben.
Yeah. Darben. Okay. So I did know. Okay, never mind. So the movie starts off with Darben on a planet, deserted planet, for MS Devon. Name.
Where was
Name
she?
of the planet?
On Hala?
No, she wasn't on Hala.
Hala is the planet of the Skrulls, isn't it?
Yeah, she was on another planet where she discovers what we find out to be one of the bands, the exact same band that Kamala has.
Yeah,
I thought you would have it up. I thought you would have it on the top of your head. So she is there, and they kind of loosely describe that she has her plan that she's putting into motion. She can't find the second pair. She's like, where is it? Cut to Jersey City, where we see Kamala in her room, where she is daydreaming about meeting and fighting with Captain Marvel, who's her hero. We kind of get an introduction to the characters kind of briefly, and then we cut to, at this point,
Monica,
and she's at the space station, Saber space station, where she is working on fixing the space station, as well as they start to investigate an anomaly, which is a jump point that hasn't seemed to close. Fury inquires about it, and then also connects to our third protagonist, which is Captain Marvel. She is on her spaceship, trying to investigate and unravel the mess that is her mind. And Captain Marvel asks, Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Interchangeable.
But he kind of more was playing Samuel Jackson in this movie, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times it's one and the same. Nick Fury has become Samuel Jackson, and vice versa. So she is asked to investigate the situation with the jump point, which leads her to Davan and company there on the planet. Davan is already gone, and as Carol has a little fight sequence with the Kree soldiers, and then eventually investigates the jump point. Monica, at the same time, is investigating the jump point on her end, and Kamala is inspecting her band. Davan uses her universal weapon and the bands, and they all get entangled and switch places. So
quantum entanglement.
Might I say, convenient that all three of these things happen at the exact same time.
Life in itself is pretty convenient to the amino acids that bundle together to create life on planets.
Primordial goo.
Yes. Everything is a miracle. Technology is a miracle. Everything is a
why
miracle.
are these three linked? I wasn't clear on that.
Because
They
they
all
have
light-based
light
Kang
power.
set it up that way.
What?
Because Kang set it up that way.
Kang set it up that only these individuals.
I'll tell you why. Carol and Monica are linked because they both touched the same tear in.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
They touched the same entity at the same
But
time.
that doesn't explain Kamala.
They touched that open gate. You know what I mean? So those two are linked for that reason. Kamala is linked because she has a quantum band.
But why are these three linked specifically? Like, that's what I'm not understanding.
I think again,
Carol and Monica because they
explained it
touched the same.
They touched
entity.
what? And what did they touch?
A jump point.
That jump point that was stuck open. That whole like.
Yes. Okay. So it was a coincidence that they touched it at the same time.
They touched it at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
It was
yeah, and then Kamala because she has a quantum band and also is light based.
But
All right.
I gotta say too though that like it's weird to me that like it's like even Nick Fury points it out later in the movie. It's like, why did you guys touch this thing? And I just want to make it clear that just because you point out a stupid point in your writing does not make it not a stupid point in your writing.
Yeah, I don't like when the movies do that either.
So, okay, that being
hanging
said,
a lantern on something doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
That being said, people touch crap all the time,
Yeah.
right?
I liked Monica's response. She's like, because it was cosmic and like mysterious.
Yeah.
It's like people have. We've constantly seen people touch stuff. It's like, what happens? We don't know. Like a layperson doesn't know if there's any radiation on Malnor. You still try to pick it up, right?
You also
Like,
have to remember
people-
Monica Rambeau is impervious to harm, so she's not too worried about anything.
And then at the same, so I understand why people would do it, especially those two people, right?
Yeah.
But in
She's also
general,
impervious.
you're right, Eamon. People touching stuff and then saying, "Hey, you shouldn't have touched it," right?
Yeah.
You kind of like
Not
that's without saying, "Duh,"
Yeah.
right? Don't touch stuff, and we won't get into this position in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
I gotta continue.
they're fighting and they're all going and switching places for the like a good sequence. and that
Everybody was a
fun.
kung
One
fu
of
fighting.
the cooler parts in the movie. I do think that the switching created the opportunity for a fun, like you guys said, a fun fight scene here. Really,
It was
interesting
very
one
fun.
where they're
I
kind of
liked it a lot.
just trying to keep their bearings straight.
Kamala's
basically.
parents get into the fight. They start beating up guys who get transported over from the Kree ship, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah,
And
the terrible Kree
I like the
soldiers.
idea.
I want to point out, by the way, it was super silly of Kamala to be, or sorry, of Captain Marvel to basically go over to that Kree ship. I think there's a bit of an argument to be made that she incited them to attack the Skrull, and the Skrull think that too.
Oh! It's good I reviewed the material because that attack was going to happen regardless. So Captain Marvel was made aware of the Kree and the Skrull possible conflict by one of the Kree soldiers before she flew to the planet. She
said it was a ruse.
She believed it was a ruse. We later learned it was somewhat a ruse because
she didn't know that when she entered there, right?
Well, she's
brazen. It's part of her character.
Yeah,
she just
I know that, but it doesn't mean it's a good trait of her character.
Well, it's a trait that makes her a different character than others.
It's a bad
character flaw.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Just like how
Wolverine freaks out and murders everybody. That's a character flaw.
The hubris of Tony Stark is part of his character.
Really bad. He gets millions of people killed all the time. Tony Stark.
But she tells Nick Fury. Nick Fury's like, "Don't be stupid. Don't go there." Right. But just like any rogue cop, any soldier, right? This appears like, "No, don't do that." He's like, "No, I believe it's right," and that's Carol's character. Regardless,
she's very much a rogue cop. That's a good analogy.
Right. Darben is speaking to the Skrull leader, and in her speech says, "We're." He's like the male white version of
Tony
Ironheart.
Who's Tony Stark?
Of Ironheart. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter anymore. I say that jokingly.
He's dead.
He'll be back in hologram form soon enough.
Apparently.
So during Darben's speech to the Skrull in their peace talks, she says that she's going to help them relocate, right? She's telling them, hey, I'm stripping this planet of its resources, and if we make this peace deal, I'll help you survive. That's basically what she says. So she was going to do it regardless. It was just a matter of if they were going to work with the Kree to do this or not. That was it. That was their olive branch of mercy.
Right.
Yeah. So like a positive and a negative for me. Positive, I like how the switching in that initial fight where they had no idea how it was working or where they were going to go or when, like, created an opportunity for them to work on their teamwork and kind of like super advance their teamwork in a short amount of time. And they did that, and that was awesome. So I like how they actually did become a little team. It'd be cool. They show up in an Avengers movie, like the three of them working together, like super tight with their crazy powers, and that'd be pretty.
I did like the that montage of them like synchronizing themselves.
Yeah, that was.
I came
fun.
later.
The negative, I agree. I didn't need another Kree. It's basically Yonrog again. Like I didn't need another Kree. Give me a Blastar, the Living Bomb Burst. Give me a Nihilus. Give me.
So
like,
the
Captain
problem
Marvel
with that,
needs a real threat. She needs a real threat.
The problem
Ronan's not
was this was wrapping up the stuff that kind of came at the tail end of Captain Marvel, right? And they're like, okay, we need this. It was kind of like a bridge. This movie feels like a response. Honestly, it feels like a response. And don't worry, Eamon will join us back in a second. This feels like a response to a lot of the criticism about Captain Marvel. It feels like a response in terms of how people liked Kamala, but may not have necessarily watched or liked Miss Marvel. Right? I know there's some people never watched Miss Marvel and understand that. It wasn't necessarily the movie or show for some people. But like they took the best parts of that movie, which is Kamala herself and her family. And then they took Spectrum, who was this character that's kind of bridges the two together. And then
going to call her Photon.
Spectrum.
No, they'll call her Photon.
By the way,
they probably call her Photon.
It was the call sign on her mother's jet.
I know.
So they'll call her Photon.
Whatever we want to call her. She didn't even need to even be in this. Like
she did.
Frankly. Why?
She absolutely did need to. She's the connective tissue.
Didn't work. The chemistry was not there.
I disagree.
I disagree.
She's also like the loyal agent of Saber. Like she's the nuts and bolts professional, where it's like Captain Marvel's the rogue, does whatever she wants, disappears for 30
I don't
years.
know. I just
Kamala's
thought
the
she was
kid.
incredibly boring, and I hate this kind of thing that Disney has been doing. And I equated to this character. I don't even remember her name, but from like The Mandalorian, where like they have their characters just kind of like scream at people, and they think that makes them intimidating.
Well, I think you may be referring. There's that whole scene too between Monica and Carol, where Monica's all mad about that Carol didn't come back and buy her Christmas presents or whatever.
That's a legit
She
right.
abandoned her.
She went off to
abandoned
space.
her family.
She abandoned her. She said she was
Family.
But
coming
she had,
back.
but she has the speed to get there in like an hour wherever she is. Like
She
that's
was
my other
busy
problem with the
fucking
logic of this
fighting a
movie.
war.
That scene where she's flying and trying to get to Monica in time, do you know what I mean? Before the thing closes,
Yeah.
they made her like unbelievably illogically slow. Like she could have been able to get to Monica and back like before you even notice it. Like she can fly across.
Should have made it quicker. Is what you're saying?
What?
Should have made it quicker. A quicker
Well,
close.
the close would have to be impossibly fast for it to close before Carol could get there and get out. Like she's so fast. Carol flies
So
across
they did
the
that for
star
dramatic
systems.
purposes.
I mean,
Fair
I know,
choice.
but it's like it's
Except
bad
when the
logic.
plot
Like,
needs her to.
tighten
Because she
up
didn't catch up
the
to
logic,
Monica
you
when
know?
she was trying to close the thing at the end of the movie, which is convenient.
But
Yeah.
other than the scream in the sky and that one,
Yeah,
those are the two
but
logic
back
ones.
to like this middle part of the movie where Monica and Carol have to hash out this abandonment thing or whatever. I honestly didn't feel it worked. It didn't. I don't care. I don't sympathize with Monica on it. I just was like, whatever. Like I don't buy this tension. It's
I don't either.
contrived. And
feels forced.
I'm glad you love
you-
it, Jaemeel. It's awesome. Good for
great.
Did
you.
you buy the
But
reason?
You feel like you have to automatically be apologist about it if I,
I don't know.
disagree with you.
You're just like you're so sure. I'm like,
How did you feel about her
I'm
reason
sure, but
for
we not watch the
staying
same
away?
thing? So
Feels
There,
like it.
Dave.
Hmm?
How did you feel about her reason for staying away that they cleared up at the end, where she said like because she caused this like a war to happen?
Yeah, that makes perfect
So
sense.
she
I
was felt disgraced and didn't want to return
I
home
was
as a
I
disgrace. and wanted
was
to
like, you
clear
don't
it
have to feel bad, Carol. Like you're busy. You know, like,
You're busy.
you know,
She was though.
You're
She was
doing your
really
job.
doing shit.
like it's a big universe. I can buy that she didn't get back to Earth and whatever, and all that. And she clearly did get back, and she talked to her, Maria Rambeau, and that was a better scene.
But Monica did not know that.
I know, but I didn't care
Monica was
about
gone.
Monica's angst or
Yeah,
whatever.
Monica was
you know?
blipped. for
I don't
the-
Yeah,
care
she
about
was
Monica
gone.
at all in this movie. She's such a nothing character.
Like I liked her in WandaVision, but in this show, she just wasn't. The chemistry between her and Carol wasn't there.
She was the third wheel.
She very much was the third
Like-
wheel. They were like, we need a third person to combine this team, so we're gonna put her on this team.
But again, it's a Captain Marvel sequel, and Kamala Khan is just an unbelievable superstar. So those two are always going to be like outshining that.
For sure.
I feel like they cast whoever plays Monica Rambeau for WandaVision.
Teyonah Paris.
But did they ever screen test her against Brie Larson, like to make sure
For
that these two
chemistry?
would work on? Yeah, because I don't think it's there. You know,
Have you seen chemistry with Brie Larson with anyone?
Brie
Yes.
Larson? Brie
Yes.
Larson and the girl who
David,
plays,
I don't know what you're saying with that statement.
like I thought.
I'm just asking Dave. Like I think she has
Okay.
pretty good.
I think Kamala Khan and Carol Danvers was a good dichotomy
Yeah.
there,
They-
right?
they
I
have
just
good
think
chemistry.
the third, but I feel like Monica Rambeau was the third wheel here.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely like that.
I
the
liked
third wheel.
Monica Rambeau, the kid version in the first movie, much better. You know, this one was just like,
Lieutenant Trouble.
you know, and I don't think it's the Teyonah Paris's fault per se. I just think that the way they wrote her in this movie just wasn't working for me so much. Although I did like Eamon said, like that whole sequence where they're doing the skipping ropes and they're
Yeah, that was
switching
cute.
positions. That was fun
funny.
and a good sequence, and I liked it. You know, but yeah, and then I guess when we move into the next stage, right, of the movie, which is where they go to do save those scrolls. Not with mixed results.
So what's her face comes down. She says, "You're all gonna die." Basically, she uses her thing, which I still don't understand what her powers are.
The bad guy?
Yeah,
So she has a
She has a quantum band. Yeah.
quantum band, and she has the universal weapon.
Yeah. So she has Ronan the Accuser's weapon and quantum bands.
There's only one of those, or does every Kree guy have that?
Every
accuser.
All the accusers have a universal weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's called. But in the first one, they never used the universal weapon. He used it like 3-4 times. Right? He just held it in his hand.
The whole movie's about him getting the
Power Stone, I guess.
Yeah.
But like he used the Power Stone like twice.
Yeah.
Like,
but the
Darban?
Yeah, Darban. What does the universal band do exactly? Because
the universal weapon.
They are
the quantum band.
Well, normally the wearer has both of them. Like for Kamala, it gives her light powers, and her mutant ability allows her to access it and not die.
Okay.
Which is why they told Darban, they're like, you can't use both of those quantum bands, you will die. And she's just like, psh, psh, and then she
did they explain that? Because that was the other thing. I was so
they told her not to do it. They're like, you will die. They're
I was
like, you will die.
Okay, because I guess I wasn't picking up on all these lines per se, but like when Darban tries to use both at the end, and she just vaporizes, but then Kamala's able to do
it just fine.
Kamala can do it because she's a mutant.
Okay,
that's convenient.
I missed that.
Okay, but mutants can do that, but the Kree can't. Aren't the Kree supposed to be like
just
super
Kamala? That's Kamala's mutant power.
But the Kree aren't super beings, though.
They're not. They're just people.
Yeah, they're just people. Remember,
accusers get enhanced.
Yeah,
with that
super Skrulls are super because they were genetically tampered with. Right.
Okay.
Just like how humans and regular individuals, humanoids can't handle Infinity Stones. When they do, they die. Peter Quill being half and distributing the power,
all of them,
to distribute the power, and they got wrecked from it. Right, was able to handle this. So the quantum bands, right, together as a pair, you need to have the ability to kind of manage that. So.
Yeah, like normally a character named Kazar has.
I don't know. It seems very convenient.
Wendell Vaughn.
Another thing I want to talk about in this movie is that I kind of realized that they're just trying to make a almost Wonder Woman type character, Wonder Woman equivalent in Captain Marvel.
To answer your question, Eamon, what they do, it's very much like what Kamala does. Like the Kazar character basically has Green Lantern's powers. He can make hard light constructs and things like that.
Right.
So basically Kamala's powers, but two of them even better.
All right. But
allows them to fly through space and that.
Getting back on track, we basically have her. She comes down, Darban, and she siphons, I believe, the atmosphere.
Yeah,
from the Skrull planet, right?
Yeah,
the Skrull refugee planet.
Refugee. So not all the Skrulls ended up on Earth. Obviously, like they're scattered.
They're spread out throughout the galaxy, but this is like a larger camp.
Did you find her lady though? She's just going after refugees. Like they're already refugees, and she's like, "Yeah, let's get these refugees."
Did it stick out to you guys that, like, at the end of Secret Invasion, which I know Eamon hasn't watched, but like at the end of that show, like, doesn't the president come on and say, like, "Hey, Skrulls, we're coming for you. We're gonna get you." Like and that's not addressed at all in this movie.
They
aren't welcome on Earth is sort of addressed. Like they don't take them to Earth. They're like, we have nowhere to take
they're not
them.
welcome. They're not welcome on
Valkyrie.
Earth because the U.S. said they're not welcome on Earth. Yeah. But there's a whole lot of planets, a lot of countries, and
like New Asgard.
Like New Asgard. Why would New Asgard not take in the Skrulls? Because they're aliens too.
They already had a few, right? Like because didn't we?
And they don't fear them.
Yeah.
In Thor, wasn't one of the kids a Skrull? Like that.
Possibly.
Yeah, they did have a Skrull kid kicking around, didn't they? Or like some sort of alien.
I think they did, yeah. But
anyway,
okay, So there's the whole battle, and there's that whole part where they're Kamala's
trying to save everyone, but Captain Marvel's kind of just like, we have to save who we can.
We have to save who we can save. Yeah. And then later on, Carol apologizes
for this, even though she's absolutely right.
I was like, you don't need to apologize, Carol Danvers. Like, again.
You apologize for the way she talked to her.
Correct.
It was a tense moment. Like, it was.
Yeah, you still can apologize, though.
This movie takes a lot of, like, the big message of this movie is to, like, kind of, like, be nice to each other. Like it's all about those three characters often kind of apologizing to each other and trying to like speak to each other as cooperatively as possible. That seems to be the message of this movie.
Like Kamala's not like a soldier, right?
No, I
She's
get
a
that. I have
civilian.
no problem with that. I have no problem with her being like that. You're right. She's a kid, and she would absolutely think that way. But
just from a practical standpoint, like the pragmatic standpoint, whatever. Anyway, so they get as many scrolls as they can, and then Valkyrie shows up. I felt like I was meant to clap when Valkyrie showed up, and I was like, whatever. But you know,
Valkyrie?
Yeah, I didn't care. I wasn't like, whoa. I didn't expect her to be in this movie. Like
that's King Valkyrie.
King Valkyrie.
Why is she king?
Because she wants a queen.
Okay.
Yeah, she's king. She's king of New Asgard.
She's king of Asgard
instead of queen of New Asgard.
Yeah.
Okay. And she shows up in her tux or whatever. And takes off
her political. She was wearing a suit. Like she's a politician.
Like that was her choice. The king thing. Like.
Yeah,
Thor's like they need a new queen. She's like, I was thinking about king or whatever, like that.
Whatever. She takes off the scrolls, and then is that when they head off to the other planet to try to save the water from the water planet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they have to piece it together first. They basically think, well, what do they want? And they basically come to the conclusion of they want the water, so they'll go to this water planet.
Yeah,
so
which is very reminiscent of Strange New Worlds musical episode.
I was not a fan of this sequence. It was very silly.
A lot of people online, a lot of people have had a bad reaction to this. I thought it was fun that it was a planet where everyone sings.
I thought it was silly. Not in a good way.
This is a silly movie, and this is the point. Like the cats and everything. Like this is a silly ass movie.
This is a legit planet in the comics that has singing as a language.
Okay.
Right?
And my favorite part.
And they actually cut it down. They cut this sequence down.
Eamon Vellani, or was that her name, right? Like Kamala Khan. Like Kamala Khan is just like her facial expressions through that whole sequence. She's like, I'm loving this, and she's like,
that's taken from her show.
This whole movie
show had music.
She's amazing.
I was like, just her enjoying it made me enjoy it.
She's great. She carries this movie for sure. Like I think the main reason I like this movie, despite the fact I didn't think it had much of a villain. And it could use one more pass on the script, probably. Her as the star of any movie is at least an 8 for me. She's amazing.
Yeah, like I think she outshines Brie Larson in this movie.
Oh yeah,
and
I think that's why they had to change the name of the movie. Like instead of Captain Marvel 2,
the Marvel.
You can't really call this Captain Marvel 2.
Captain Marvel got demoted from her own sequel, by the way, which I found hilarious.
But you know what? Because Kamala is awesome. And so good.
Well, yeah. So it's just
so fine. Give her the franchise.
These two older actresses would be able to like keep up with her, but that was kind of part of what was hurting it.
She has such an effortless charisma, though. Iman Vellani, she's so good.
I just found out she's Canadian. Yeah, like
she's from Toronto,
bro.
I didn't know. I assumed she was American.
No,
but. She
does appearances at like a Markham comic book store all the time.
Oh yeah, she's like a month older than Eamon. So, there you go.
Eamon, when's your Marvel TV show?
Yeah, when are you gonna get cast in something?
You can be one.
Clearly,
of the
I'm not their target demographic. They clearly want a lot more, a lot less white men.
Oh, whatever. We'll make you friggin' a scroll. Something.
Maybe you get a Green Man.
Green Man.
All right. So then, the whole thing on the planet. She has that dress that she turns into, like that, like Disney looking dress, and then she does
I thought it looks like Wonder Woman too, in a sense.
Maybe a little.
Like, hasn't Wonder Woman worn dresses like that sometimes when she's casually?
I think so. Yeah, but like
there is something to be. There is something to be said for when all of your star actors are white men, that there's only one way to go, but less.
That's fair.
Well, I skipping ahead there because we were like, this movie teases finally they're putting the Young Avengers together, and I was like, are all the Young?
That was very exciting for me.
Yeah, I was like, are all the Young Avengers like women? Because I was like, it's
no, just some of the coolest ones. All of my favorite ones, actually.
Like
they also
who are the men?
Patriot, Hulkling.
Patriot.
The funny thing to me is that
Hulkling,
like
Wiccan,
Spider-Man is in the
Yeah.
Avengers. And
Yeah,
like
Miles.
some of the
no,
Patriot
Miles is in the
being-
champions.
Yeah.
He's
Young
like that
Avengers
grandson
are older than
of what's his
Spider-Man are.
name from
Yep.
Kid Loki,
Kid Loki. from
Kid
the time.
Loki,
Iron Lad,
Iron Lad,
Iron
who's
Lad?
Kang.
Yeah.
He's Kang variant.
is Kang.
Well, apparently they're doing away with Kang, and that's the big announcement. But as well, we'll see.
What big? Which that remains to be seen.
Are you sure that's
But
not
the
just
main
Jonathan
three
Majors?
Young Avengers with
If
like
we're
a
talking about the
lineage-
Variety article that's been practically debunked, we shouldn't base it off that.
Okay, but like, yeah, I was just like Young Avengers. I was like, okay, the Hulk guy, I guess, because who doesn't even talk?
No,
Scar
So
or whatever.
Hulkling
that's
is not a Hulk.
Yeah, Hulkling is different.
He's a Skrull and a Kree.
But
He's a
yes,
Have we
Kree
seen
Skull
him
Hunter.
yet?
He's now the emperor of the Kree and the Skrulls.
So
Have we seen him in the MCU yet?
No.
no, so that's different than what we saw at the end of She-Hulk.
Right, but it's basically Kate Bishop.
Oh,
it's
that's
the
Scar.
young
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Black the other Black Widow. The young like
Yelena.
you got
No,
Kamala
not
Khan.
no. You're talking about Hawkeye. You're talking about Kate Bishop. She's not a Black
Yeah.
Widow. She's a Hawkeye.
No. I said the other Black Widow, the new Black Widow. Is
No,
Yelena?
she would be in
She's too old for the young.
She's too old to
Yeah.
be in the Young Avengers.
Yeah,
Okay, she's gonna lead the
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. Yeah.
Okay, so just Kamala Khan. You got Kate Bishop,
Cassie Lang.
Cassie Lang. You got the Iron Heart, I guess, right? Or she too?
Yep, Reeve's a good. No, she's a good one for that team.
Funny to me too, because again, like I was saying, Spider-Man is younger than some of the people in this Young Avengers, and he's in the regular Avengers. So
He's Spider-Man.
But he's Spider-Man, not
Yeah.
Spider-Boy. You know?
He's Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the greatest superhero ever created. He's Spider-Man.
and he's more of a loner.
Oh, we lost Eamon again.
He is.
I don't
But-
He's not really an Avenger. Like he likes to say he is and stuff, but he's not.
He's Avengers adjacent. He's
Yeah,
everyone
Avengers
adjacent.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
everyone
And,
adjacent.
and I guess that kid from the Patriot or from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Patriot.
who
Yep,
who's
him.
the
He
grandson
becomes
of
Isaiah
the
Patriot.
other guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
So they have most of them already. They just don't have Hulkling, and they have Wiccan and Speed, but they've now like their alternate universe. So they're gonna have to. Find
Oh,
the
you mean
Wiccan and
like
Speed.
Vision and Wanda's kids? who
They're
don't
they're
exist.
in the Young Avengers as well. Yeah.
anyways,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, they're there.
Yep.
And then like we mentioned, eventually a fight breaks out between the Kree, Darban,
And this
and all that.
other
They attack the water
species.
planet. I guess they lost, and that whole water planet was destroyed, and all those musical people died. I guess. And
lot
They
of
then,
them.
don't show any
no.
of that. Like
Yeah.
nobody really like even gets hurt on camera.
like because I feel like that could have been more of an emotional punch that they kind of
You
missed.
see the
Okay.
waves overtaking them in the background as they're flying away.
Yeah, but they fly away, and it's sort of like, okay, well, moving on to the next thing because they're going to attack Earth next, right? So
Because they want the sun.
Okay, this is
Earth's
where
got
we're
some
gonna.
sweet water too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is where we're gonna get into like what I felt was like the turning point in the movie. So that whole sequence where they're escaping, Carol didn't want to leave, and Carol wanted to continue fighting,
mhm.
and
So did Kamala.
Kamala after understanding what Carol was talking about in the initial Skrull conflict, went ahead and made the decision that it made more sense for them to escape than get captured at that exact moment,
Yeah.
and created a jump point. And Captain Marvel was obviously not happy about that moment. And then they crash land on this planet, and they immediately leave the ship, and it seems like that a whole chunk of the conversation has been cut out of the movie, and Carol is already very emotional, and they go right into a resolution of this conflict. So right then
absolutely.
and there, it felt like a whole chunk of the conversation where a lot of the things were brought to light was just scrapped out of the movie.
It feels like
I-
a lot of
I
things
agree
were
with
cut
you.
out of this movie, frankly, and I think it says something about
But
the
I think that's a perfect way to word what I was trying to say earlier. The theme of this movie is quickly resolved conflict.
So I felt that it did a disservice to specifically Carol and Rambo's conflict that was at play, as well as kind of confronting a lot of the issues of the character that Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, is dealing with. How she feels very alone, and she's not used to being questioned, but at the same time, she's overwhelmed with this guilt of that her best laid plans have spiraled into this madness across the entire galaxy, and she's constantly like, okay, I'm gonna fix it and then I can get back, and she can't. Everything she does, it feels like is getting worse, or it seems ineffective, and she's just struggling. That's why she's alone. She's trying to figure out who she is and what she can do to save and to correct this. And like, she gets confronted by Rambo and Kamala, and then we seem like we get like a resolution, like it's okay, like I understand. I'm like, no, like, where is the work, right? The work of the characters, that sequence. It's like removing the Avengers sequence where everyone is at conflict in the helicarrier, and they're going around the circle and confronting each other, right? That was an important part of the movie. If that was cut out and it was just Dr. Banner holding the scepter, like, it would be a lesser movie for it. Right? And all to service the fact that they're like, we just want a quicker runtime, right? I think at the end of the day, the most important thing should be presenting a story that makes sense, Davan, and has enough emotional intelligence and to give stakes to a story, whether the villain is good or not, because there's been a ton of Marvel movies with terrible villains.
That's
nonsensical movies. The conflict is the characters, right? The conflict is the characters, right? And the thing that they're hanging their hat on is the quantum entanglement. That's what this movie is. So they made it fun, but they removed all the emotional stakes, I felt, and this was supposed to be what was supposed to ground this movie, and it's a lesser movie from this.
Right. Like, if you remember, like the Avengers, there was all that conflict between the Avengers internally, but also they had a great villain in Loki in that movie, right? And like, I don't think Darben is Loki.
I think people are retroactively placing how they felt about Loki with the Avengers. I don't think people were super happy about Loki in that movie.
That was the first one where they started to say every Marvel movie was just a CG army at the end. So that was remembered as just being a CG army, not being Loki, for a long time.
I won't say they're entirely wrong, but I will say that it's weird. Yeah.
Let's skip to the end. Look, so Darban tries to use the 2 quantum bands, dies because she's not a...
Well, before that, they had to evacuate the whole space station with the cats.
They did. Well, yeah, we should probably talk about
that.
It was so they had to get eaten by the Flurkins to save themselves because they didn't have enough shuttle space, which was a pretty hilarious workaround. They're like, it's way easier to evacuate a family of cats than...
Yeah. I thought Kamala's parents should have also been eaten by the Flurkins.
Yeah, that didn't make no sense.
They all got seats on the shuttle, but everyone else who worked
they got special reservation?
Yeah.
Well, they're not soldiers.
Sure.
I guess, yeah.
They don't. Yeah.
They got special treatment.
Eamon, I'm sorry. It's such a stupid cop-out response, but yeah, that's basically it. Samuel Jackson couldn't feel comfortable asking civilians to get eaten.
Yeah. Like the scene where everyone's running away because they don't want to be eaten by Flurkins, so they're like, stop running. Let the cats eat
Flurkins.
That was pretty funny. That was funny.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah, from the song from Cats as well.
So Dave, did you get excited with that? Yeah.
Because I famously like couldn't wait to see the Cats movie, not because I like it, just because I think it's an amazing abomination that they made that movie at all. Just after the trailer came out, I'm like, they spent $1 billion on this movie.
So does Kamala have both quantum bands now, or where did the other second one go?
No, Darban still has the other quantum band.
No, you mean by the end, or by
the end? At the end of the movie?
By the end, she has both. Yeah.
But that's confusing because I did notice that in the end of the movie, she's only wearing one, even though she should have.
She
both,
just wears
and
her
they don't
grandmother's
explain that, and I feel
But
like
she
there was
does
just-
have. I think she did keep both.
Yeah,
the one
well,
thing.
they never explain it.
Or did
the-
she
the
give it to
problem.
Carol?
But if we can talk about the end of this movie, because the fight, I think my other big issue here is this final fight, and more that the logic of their powers. Because Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, is supposed to have all this power, right?
Yeah.
But there's this sequence where basically the three of them are attacking Darban, and Darban's holding her
All
own
three of
against
them.
all three of them, and they're all just kind of blasting their individual powers at her.
Just another part.
Because
that movie-
they explain that her power that she's gained from the quantum bands working with her universal weapon is that she absorbs all their power.
Okay.
So all the power they're attacking her with, she's just.
But that's the
absorbing it.
problem I have. Why are they using their powers against them then?
They shouldn't have been.
They're empowering.
But they
her.
just
Yeah,
were
stupid.
thinking
Why
they
are
could still kick the shit out of her.
Really?
But they
Like,
couldn't.
it
Captain
doesn't
Marvel
work.
does that multiple times in the movie. He's
Yeah.
like, by the final fight, you're like, why are you still doing this? You see that it clearly powers her up.
So
Stop
yes and
doing
no,
it.
but yes and no. Like a lot of times they use their powers to like increase their strength to like physically attack. It's only when they shoot, right?
But
So
that's
with-
the problem, though, right?
with Miss Marvel though,
She has no
it isn't
physical
energy. It's still light that's physical. So
Right, that's
it's the
different
physical
from-
impact. So they switch back and forth, and they don't really defeat the villain. The villain basically
himself.
Yeah,
gets
kills her, though.
She puts on the bangles and then she dies, right? And that's
no,
it.
well,
Yeah.
not even before that. Like they defeat her in the fight with the beam falling on her and cutting open her stomach, so she was gonna die, right? Regardless, and then she tricks the trio into having Kamala, held hostage, right? And then they give up the other band, and then Darban has both bands. She's
And they
dual
kill her.
band, not Darban,
Yep.
dual band.
Yeah, right.
Cool band.
Right, and then she, by opening up the jump point, she kills herself.
Yes,
And explodes.
then it tears open a hole that Monica Rambeau has to go stop.
Yes, yes.
Well,
that wasn't me. Oh, it's him just playing it because of what it
because
entailed.
she ended up in the X-Men universe, but before Monica Rambeau,
He
got
looks
stuck
great. Beast looks great. He
Oh,
looks
we're already
so
going there.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, Beast
We're going. We're going there.
We're going there.
We're going there.
Yes,
Beast is there.
Beast
because
is there.
binary. Maria Rambeau is binary in that universe. Beast is there. Kelsey Grammer Beast, and he looks great.
And he
does look
didn't have to put
clearly
any
just
makeup on. I'm
CGI,
sure he was
but
thrilled.
looks like Beast.
Yeah.
The makeup Beasts don't work. Beast isn't just a guy with makeup on. Beast is a huge monster. So, like,
It's like, do you
it's
guys remember the
amazing.
70s
It's amazing.
where he's
Look
just
at-
a dude in green makeup?
Yeah,
But that was Lou Ferrigno. At least they
Yeah,
found the
but it was
biggest dude they
hilarious.
could possibly find.
Yeah, but I know, but it's hilarious to me because he was like only 6 feet tall.
I think the one for
Yeah.
me was what's his name, Michael Chiklis as the thing,
Thing.
in the Fantastic Four with the suit
At
on.
least the thing isn't very tall. The thing is actually,
but he's supposed to be
kinda
like
short.
monstrous as well.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he's
not
monstrous.
tall,
huge.
but
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and it looked like
Yeah.
a guy in a rubber suit. You know,
Yeah,
a
he
lot of the
did.
time, right? So
You got to CGI these monsters.
He
And
has
they
to
did
be
it here with
lovable
Beast.
enough that the hooligans on Yancey Street still love him.
right.
Yep.
Although I think there is something to be said about having a physical actor interact with other actors and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you just can't do it because it's just not practical for the
But
character.
they kind of can do both now. They just put the ball suit on you guy, and you're still the actor there.
Please, Kelsey Grammer in a ball suit.
Or they can just put your face onto like a CGI character. Right?
He
But that's the
steps
Beast
out.
I want in the MCU. That's the Beast I want right there.
Yeah.
Kelsey
He's-
Grammer voicing a CGI character.
Right.
Take it away.
He
Take it away,
steps out of,
MCU.
he steps out of an episode of Frasier to.
Well,
he's like,
here-
sorry, I got to put my ball suit on.
Yeah, no, but here's my question about this post credit scene. So they're choosing to. I think this is tying into the Deadpool movie we're getting next, which is all going to be multiverse or something. And my understanding
yeah.
is that Deadpool is going to recruit the Hugh Jackman Wolverine because he's the best Wolverine or something, and they're going to
what he does.
and they're going to go off to save the multiverse together. And I feel like that's what I guess maybe Monica Rambeau's going to be there. So
is that what the movie's going to be about?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought it was just getting Wolverine because Hugh Jackman would be Wolverine in that universe that Deadpool's in.
Well, I think that's what I heard is that
costume.
it's going to tie. It's going to be Deadpool and Wolverine and trying to save the multiverse, which ties into MCU and etc.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to bring in the X-Men.
I think that people are kind of putting what they want the movie is going to be about. I think that the movie is going to tie in definitely, but I don't think that's what the movie is about.
Why not?
He's gonna. It's about. I thought it was just going to be a Deadpool kills the Fox universe kind of thing.
I think it most likely is going to be that versus like
I
can understand what people want. I understand that's what people have wanted. I don't think that's going to be the case, and I think like Multiverse of Madness, people are like, "Oh, it's going to be this and it's going to be that," and it's like, no, this is the story we're telling, and I think there's a lot of disappointment that came from that. I haven't heard what the summary is at all or any leaks about it. So
that's what I had heard. One thing, but maybe it's not true. Who knows? But that's where I was left. But because that was in my head, and then I'm watching the scene where Beast is there, Monica Rambeau's in this other dimension with the original X-Men movie characters, I guess. Is this tied into Deadpool or is it?
Right.
But we'll see.
I think it was just a nod to the fact that the X-Men are coming quicker than they initially had said. They're like, yeah, they're coming. Here's Beast, the X-Men.
We kind of already had part of the X-Men, but
not in the MCU though.
We had like Charles Xavier,
but he was in the alternate.
He's from an alternate universe.
It's an alternate. It's not even the X-Men universe. It's another.
Let's fire up the ratings.
All right.
Let's do it. And then just on that whole Young Avengers scene, which you said you loved, got you excited.
It did. Yeah.
It was okay.
So
he's like, I hear Ant-Man has a kid.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, you're like about people being old enough. Like Kate's just like, I'm like 23. I'm not like a
yeah.
kid
I was like, and how old's the other Black Widow? Like Elena? How old is she comparatively?
Oh, she's like in her 30s, man.
But she got snapped for 5 years, so I don't know. Maybe she's even older. Okay, so do you guys want me to go first on the ratings?
Sure.
I feel like this is a 5. Like this is about Jaemeel.
So I have to also change some ratings too.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I would like Ant-Man Quantumania to be changed to right? A 7.1.
Okay. You're taking it from 8.3.
Change it to a 7.
What's
to a 7
very like specific points? Like
well, if it was on X-rated, there won't be any points because
why the change? Why the change?
Why the change? Because this movie is going to be a 7.8.
Okay, so you like this better than Ant-Man?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Eamon, your rating?
I'll give it a 4.5.
There you go, Davan.
Can I change Secret Invasion to like a 4?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds about right from what I've heard.
The Marvels is an 8 for me. I like it better than Ant-Man. And like I say, Amon Vellani at least makes it an 8, just with her.
She brought it up for me. And this has currently on IMDb a 6.0 with 4,600 votes.
We're close.
So
yeah,
our average.
And if you look up Iron Man 2, how much Iron Man 2 has, which is ridiculous.
Now, this movie's way better than Iron Man 2 and Thor 2.
Iron Man 2, but Thor 2 is not a high bar.
Iron Man 2 has a 6.9 on IMDb,
which is madness to me. It's way too high.
What?
6.9.
Is Iron Man 2 that bad? I haven't watched him forever.
Iron Man 2 is a mess.
What's interesting, like what I saw Stephen King tweeted the other day, he was like, like I don't like these MCU movies, but I find it weird that there's this whole population out there, a group of people that want this movie to fail, want a movie to fail at the box office, etc. And I was kind of with.
I agree
Stephen
with him.
King.
I agree with
I
him.
was like, why would you be rooting for that? You know, but I
There's
think a lot of
some
people,
ladies in it, and some people
Yeah.
hate ladies.
Like,
Well,
I guess you call them people.
I think that there's a lot
things
of
out there
BS
that
around
hate
that, but I
ladies.
will admit that there are definitely the type of people who are that people. Yeah.
I think when Brie Larson gave that that speech years ago that she didn't care what 40-year-old white men think or whatever, I don't think she made a lot of friends.
And people
But
were
I don't
too
care what
dumb to
40-year-old
actually
white
take
men
the
think
message that she was actually saying. It's hilarious.
Would you like to elaborate on that? What was she trying? What was she actually
Sure,
saying?
I will absolutely like to elaborate on that. That whole conversation was about critics, right? Critics and how there is like basically no diversity in the critic forum, right?
Who's calling critics 40-year-old white men?
Yeah,
Most critics were 40-year-old white men, and she didn't care what they thought.
So she's saying that, hey, if they're making a movie for like a demographic, and the only people whose word of how good or bad it is that's being publicized is 40-year-old white men, right? And none from like the actual demographic that they're making this movie to, right? That's kind of nonsense, right? Like if you're making a movie about Elvis,
I can see what you're saying, Jaemeel, but that's not how it came off to me. To me, it came off more as I will lack a better word of, I don't care what you think. Fuck the haters. I don't care. I just
well, I think she was.
my
I
bubble.
think what Jaemeel was saying was like, we made this movie for young women, right?
I
Or young
understand
girls.
that, and I understand where he's coming from, but I'm just saying that's not the impression I got from her. From when she said that.
And I think a lot of like gatekeeping comic book nerds are like, yeah, you think the movie can succeed without us? Go, good luck. So I don't know. Like it's. Like the movie's not doing well at the box office for.
Oh no, this is the worst
MCU
movie.
It's going to do terribly, which is
the worst
hilarious in
MCU
itself.
movie on its opening weekend ever, and that's kind of insane to me.
Yeah,
well,
and,
they didn't.
This one
Put any
of all
promotion
the
behind it.
movies, this one.
People are
was
relishing
no
in the
edit.
fact that it's doing poorly, which is
weird.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, no, I agree. Fucked up.
So, unlike a lot of other people, I actually do delve in the sewers of the comment sections of a multitude of articles. So I would say that I have a good pulse in terms of the good and bad. And there is a lot of discussion about ultimately what this movie is it was fun, but not really that bad. As like, this is the worst, and people are like, see, this is the worst movie ever, and it's like, no, it's not the worst movie ever.
Not the worst movie.
So you
ever.
start to
As long as
list off all the Marvel movies that it's better than.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe it's not.
I think once you start doing that comparison of one to one, a lot of things come to light. First thing,
it's not my favorite by any means, but it's not a bad movie technically either. So it's just kind of an.
but like, and then people move the goalposts. It's like, well, you know, they should be looking to make the best movie ever. Every movie should be looking to be the best movie ever. Doesn't always hit the mark, right? Amongst anyone, you could any director has missed the mark, right? No one has a perfect track record, right? Go through that list, right? And you have the youngest MCU director. Nia DaCosta, right? Regardless, anyways, what we're talking about here is once you start lining up the movies and you start doing a comparison 1-to-1, people need to look back, right? Incredible Hulk is a terrible movie. I don't care what anyone says. That movie is like goddamn awful.
This is better than the Incredible Hulk.
Like grass.
I haven't watched the Incredible Hulk since like I was 6 because that's when it came out.
But I would rather watch Thor: The Dark World because
as much as I love Kat Dennings,
I think it's just got a better cast. I think it's got a more likable cast.
I fall asleep watching Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah,
it's like I think that Chris Hemsworth's good. I think Loki's good in the movie. I think
it's like Loki. It's Loki and other stuff that happens is that movie. right?
Yeah, like it's not the best movie. I'm just saying. I think I personally would rather watch Thor: The Dark World than this movie again. I would rather watch this movie though than The Incredible Hulk. So it's definitely.
I'd rather watch this movie than Iron Man 2.
I will agree that this is hardly the worst movie in the MCU.
Yes.
I'd rather watch this than Iron Man 3.
I'd rather watch
I
Iron Man 2
disagree.
than Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, I think, is this.
Iron Man 3,
is
I
one of the
hate
best.
purely. Iron Man 3, I hate purely for what they did to Mandarin.
Yeah, it's kind of a bait and switch. So it was.
I love Iron Man 3.
Good thing Dylan's not here. He would lose his mind.
Yeah, Dylan needs to hush his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
All right.
let's get out of here, fellas. I gotta go.
Well, we got we got a brand first, don't we?
Well, we have a thing.
The United Federation.
Yeah,
we do. Yeah, we have a federation. It's sometimes united. We have Eamon on track.
We got the Eamon on Track podcast, which was yesterday. Davan was on, and we talked about SMV's Thunder, which was apparently criticized by someone here I won't mention as elevator music.
I
not by me.
I said it was kind of.
He
get himself out of shape.
All right, you can come back, but you're on the bottom now. Eamon's taking your spot. Sorry, Jaemeel. We're giving that one to Eamon. All right.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
He asked me what I thought. Not my
thing.
Yeah, and then of course
what's the next episode?
Oh,
Eamon?
yeah. I said you got to get Kevin Millard on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Kevin on. We'll do something.
Probably Tool.
Yeah.
We got X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Tomorrow we're interviewing writer Robert N. Skier of many things from our childhoods. X-Men, Gargoyles, everything else. Beetlejuice.
Gargoyles.
Everything. So that's going to be fun.
When are you going to get Allison Court? You need to get on this Allison Court train.
I'm trying to get Allison. She won't return my calls. You get Allison on my show.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. Thanks, man. All right. And, Super Mario Brothers, you sort of were just watching that right now.
What are you guys talking about?
Well, we just wrapped up Big Brother and Survivor. We're still in Survivor 45, right, Jaemeel?
How many people are left right now in Survivor?
On Wednesdays, we have about 5 episodes left. That season's interesting. So if you like Survivor, check out our coverage there. And we did Jaemeel and I mostly, although Jeff was there sometimes too, and Foster. We covered 100-day season of Big Brother. It nearly killed us, but there's like 40 podcasts of us talking about that show, so you can go check that out.
Right. I don't think you've recovered from that yet, Dave.
No, I was like, I think I need a vacation after that season. Yeah. So,
what else do we have? We have
Hold Up a Movie podcast. We'll be back on like the 28th or something like that with radio movies.
Pontypool.
Land Murders, and Pontypool was my pick.
Pontypool. I've actually seen that movie before. It's very interesting.
And Airheads.
Yeah. And Graphic Histories. Who's next? Oh, I forget the name of the fella. My bad. But he just did an interview with who was it? Stephen E. Gordon and Coleman Andrzejowski after that. So there's lots of good stuff going on there.
It's the artist that worked with Alan Moore on Swamp Thing.
Yeah, that's who he's got coming up next.
Yeah.
I just can't quite remember the name. And after that, I think he's got Joe Eisma coming up, who was recently
changed his profile picture.
Do we have Trivial Debates tonight?
Yeah, apparently it's been postponed, right? So
nope. November 30th.
It's been postponed. That's cursed. I told them to put a bullet in that friggin' dying horse, but they won't. They say it's going to be like next Friday or something. I don't know. We'll see. But
in that Transformers one?
Transformers one. This one. The one that shall never be.
The one we've been trying to get going since like September?
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Okay.
That's what it still says on this. Look, Friday. Oh no, they changed that one to November.
Steve Blackburn, I believe.
Hellbound podcast
Blackburn,
with Alex Blackburn, and one more KBBL.
No, it's dead. Let it die.
Go look KBBL, go watch the old episodes of KBBL.
Don't bother.
Great.
It'll just make you want more, and there will never be those. So don't do that to yourself. And yeah, there's.
I think that's it.
All our Star Trek stuff. Go check all that out.
Yeah, and of course,
bringing back the Deep Space Nine podcast tomorrow night. So
we recently had an awesome talk about biology with Mohammed Noor. Took that out. So over on the first episode of Locutors of Trek season 2, and episode 2 will be December 6th, and we'll be talking metaphysics with Richard Hanley, the writer of Metaphysics of Star Trek.
Nice,
it's gonna be fun.
Awesome.
So let's get out of here then, shall we?
Yep.
Let's.
All right. It was
Have a
nice
good
seeing
Sunday.
y'all, and I will see you on the flipping side.
Stop. Friggin' Dave. Look. First,
I like how you said
disparage my
flipping
character.
side.
I listen. I'm doing it because I
He
want to
asked you to.
honor my father.
I was like,
Graciously.
tell Jaemeel we're doing it on the flip side.
Flew on
Stop
the
it.
flip side.
Oh, Lord.
Bye, everybody.
Oh my god, we're a team.
Higher. Further. Faster.
Who's a good kitty goose?
I can't. Can you?
I got it.